Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. Why is my channel about breaking through fears? The only thing that stops us from doing anything or creates any kind of stress is fear. And I don't want to go deep into that, but I want to talk today about money, career, doing what we love, feeling stuck, not knowing how to change things, and my opinion of what's going on out there that could drastically change for you, because I've rarely met a person who really loves what they do for a living. So let's get started. So I want you to remember that the planet has functioned on a very low density. What does that mean? We have not operated for the benefit of the collective. What does that mean? That means that we're always looking after ourselves. The people that hire us, that have the companies, all the big organizations and structures have always looked after themselves first. They truly don't look after the people anymore. Maybe at one point they did. Those were their intentions, and that sort of went out the window when the ego took over and money and all kinds of great riches and power was available for people in those positions. We have gone through the centuries that way. So here's what I want to propose to you to think about. This is what we, of course, refer to as the matrix. And the reason the matrix works for the higher ups is because we are literally brainwashed to believe, amongst ourselves even, that how we're functioning is acceptable, it's responsible, and it's what we must do to be good people, good fathers, good mothers, great in the community, contributors, and we're miserable. But I want you to know something. If you've ever read any books by Joe Dispenza, I've been to a couple of his events, and they actually put electrodes on our brains to see what happens when we go into happy states, meditative states, and what happens when we recondition our brain to get away from any kind of thinking, right? It takes a while to condition yourself to go from that matrix thinking that I'm supposed to be in a job, even if I hate it, I have to provide for my family. This is responsible. And if you go outside that matrix, you usually are met with disapproval by others because they're in the matrix and they don't know how to think any other way. I want you to remember that. That's critical to success and loving your life, because as soon as you let go of the requirement of approval, your world will change. Now, I move forward regardless of what anybody thinks, because first of all, the people that are going to criticize me usually aren't successful themselves, and those who are, those are the ones I hang with, who are teaching me how to not care about what other people think and step outside the matrix, right? That's who we want to hang out with, the people that are successful, that are doing it, because we want to know what's possible. And the thing that we want most of all is show me the steps. Show me how to get out of this. Show me how to make the money and be responsible. And even if it is to prove everybody wrong, it shouldn't be that. But eventually you will find yourself in a position where you can say, hey, you know what, you guys were wrong. But you should be motivated by your passion and your desire to get out of a life that doesn't work anymore. Now the thing is, again, we don't have the tools and we're disapproved, and we live in these lives where we are told we're supposed to be unhappy. That is acceptable. Of course you hate your job. I have people say all the time, quit saying the word work. And I said, well, work for you is a negative. Work for me is an amazing word. I love to work. I can't work enough. I've talked to other members within my internet training, and they all say the same thing. I love working. Why? Because we're doing what we love, and we're building something for ourselves. That's the other thing. The matrix, the traditional systems, don't want you going out there and earning for yourself. They want you to rely on them. As long as you rely on the structures, then you basically don't have any control over how long you work, how much you make, and everything else that goes along with that structure that is confining. Why? Because you have to earn a living. What are you going to do if you go back out there? Find another job, you go right back into the same situation. Now there are some employers are better than others. Hopefully you have one that treats and respects you. But I know for a fact you're not feeling like you have freedom. You're feeling obligations, pressures, rules and regulations that they have to abide by because the structures have made it very difficult to go in and have any kind of freedom within work. They're paranoid about everything, right? Well, I get up when I want to, and I do exactly what I want to every day. And my income has continually grown. Why? I knew that we were in a different world, in a different way of thinking, and that I had to make that switch regardless of what anybody thought. I wanted to be on the cutting edge of the new earth, right? So when you're in the beginning of a big movement, it's more difficult because you will get the disapproval from the people that are totally brainwashed. And again, it takes time for us to recondition ourselves to realize this is total crap, all of it. Even the colleges that we went to were teaching stuff that was antiquated, and then you spend thousands and thousands and go out there with no guarantee of anything. Yet we have systems in place right now where we can go get an education online at our convenience at a fraction of the price, and own a business at the same time, without having to do the traditional business buying. We're okay with buying franchises that we really don't own, right? The franchisors, they have this relationship going on that I always had to deal with as an investment banker that was brutal. There was no real control over that. You know, and if the franchise wasn't doing well, you weren't doing well. And they were working like dogs, night and day, and having thousands and thousands of dollars invested there. And that was okay too. Because the structures are telling us what's okay, even if it doesn't work. I worked on franchises. A lot of them, hundreds of them. And over 25 years, I didn't have one that was successful. They were all struggling. Well, that's usually why they came to us. But I saw how many did struggle and how many people really went right back to working even more hours and losing their money. Because if it went under, now they're the business owner and they are going to lose the money, not somebody else, and their job. Why do we accept all of this? Why don't we look at that and say, that doesn't work? That structure doesn't work. We have options right now. Now, you know that I am an internet marketer and I've built 2 solid companies, online businesses, and it's just me. But guess what? I have an entire staff surrounding me. An entire staff. I have 2 tech teams. I have multimillionaires I confer with. They give us all kinds of advice and guidance, update us all the time. I have a staff of mentors and trainers. I have live webinars all the time, so I get to interact with real people because sometimes online entrepreneurs get very lonely. I saw a LinkedIn article about that. We don't. We have an entire community of thousands of people all over the world. I have friends in countries that I've never even been to that are amazing. We have live events, so we do get to see each other if we choose. But every day I'm interacting live via these Zoom chats that I have with people. We are helping each other, and when you do that and you're in that environment, you accelerate your success. So the world out there is to compete against each other and to never share your secrets. When you go into the environment that I belong in, we actually help each other, and we're all our own business owners, and we're all unique, so we don't feel like we're competing with one another on that level because every one of us is a little bit unique. Some people do the e-commerce stores. That's huge. I don't know if you're into internet marketing, but selling on Amazon was the big thing for a few years. But the thing is Amazon has now tightened that down, pays less, and guess what? The competition is brutal. If you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a lot of money there. And it's just not so easy to go out and make a ton of money on Amazon. Training is required. You better know what you're doing because they can shut you down, right? If you don't abide by all the rules. This is a real business to be on Amazon. We have people that are affiliate marketers. Those are people that don't have products and services. Guess what Amazon is? An affiliate marketer. they promote other people's products and services. And they also provide other services, and they get paid for it without having to manufacture anything on that segment of their business. Uber, Expedia, Airbnb, they're all promoting somebody else's stuff. That's called affiliate marketing. It's huge. And you can do it, and you can be taught how to do that. So you don't have to have a big business background. Why do you go to Harvard? To learn how to run a business. This is no different. You can go online and learn how to be a business owner, even if you wait tables for a living or you're a stay-at-home mom. But we have people from all over the board as far as what they do for a living, from those stay-at-home moms, truck drivers, to CEOs that are so sick of functioning in that world that's killing them, literally killing them. I know. Some of the members and I in my internet training talk about what we saw. People literally dying at work. They couldn't take it anymore and didn't feel like they had options to get out. They were petrified to get out because, again, we're told that's bad. You don't want to leave here. What are you doing? Are you crazy? You got a paycheck. We put that paycheck over our own health and happiness. That is changing. But people are still afraid to step out of the matrix because our brains are so wired to that world that accepts us working hard, dying, relationships crumbling, family structures not doing well because dad or mom comes home exhausted, has very little time, and then still can't retire. And then we have this whole thing in our head that we're supposed to make a lot of money, put it in a bank account, and then retire when we're older. Well, guess what? People in their 60s are not feeling old. And who said we have to retire? But that's the matrix does that. It spits you out. When they're done with you and you're too old and you're not valuable anymore, it spits you out. And then you're on your own, and you better hope you have one heck of a portfolio, which a lot of people have lost because the structures out there are losing money because of the economies or the trends. And we're okay with that. We're okay with putting our money in a portfolio that could go away overnight. It's crazy. And we're done with it. And thousands of people are leaving. 75 or 70% of the people leaving their jobs are not going to another job. They're getting out. They're creating their own positions. They're creating their own businesses, and most of them are online. Yeah, 85% of the people out there hate their jobs. What's wrong with this equation? Yet we look at the opportunity to learn something so dynamic and so new, and we reject it. It takes a while to rewire this brain, and when you are in the matrix where you're going to get the disapproval, it's even more difficult. But I'm going to tell you something right now. What I did was a bit radical. I did shut down my investment banking business. I owned it. I was a single business owner. I completely shut it down. I totally dedicated my time to learning how to create an online business. I knew that that was not the wave of the future. It was happening right now. And it's huge. And yes, there are people out there selling things and making a few bucks here and there. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a real business and a real education. I'm talking about going to an online school where the owners spend millions of dollars to put that platform in place with the best trainers, the best business platform in place for you. So it's not just an education. You go in and you actually have a business platform. What is that? You have downloads and instructions how to create that business and how to market your business. And what does that look like? Once you get established, how do you grow that business? And I personally, because I was an investment banker, work with people. I'm not a trainer. I'm just a student, because I'm a student forever there, because you're always learning. That's the other thing. You always get to learn. You always get to up your game. You always get to find out what's going on out there so you can continue to be successful. You're not out there with antiquated information with no assistance. Those people are with you the whole time. But I help people to start thinking about being that business owner that could actually build something that they could sell at some point. How about that? How amazing would that be, right? I know people who've done it. And I always look at everything as an intellectual property, which you could totally create. And if you're thinking you can't, well then, you need to explore, in a good way, explore what's available to you and find out what it is you could create. Even if it's not your own product or service, that you could absolutely build and grow and work less and create something that's making more and more money. But here's the thing. You've got to get it through your head that this is not a get rich quick kind of thing. That's another structure out there that's piranhas feeding off of people that want to believe that they can just go out, do very little work, and create this multi-million-dollar business. It's baloney. And those guys are making a lot of money doing that, selling unbelievable dreams. The truth is, if you want to be a business owner, it's still going to be learning, commitment, focus, building the business. That's the value. If anybody could do it, there'd be no business valuable enough to purchase, because we could just go out and do it. But when you know this and you have an expertise, people are going to come to you. You could be a consultant to companies. You could create your own product. You can do anything with this online. I now have my own brand. I know how to create all of that, and I get to change people's lives. I feel good every day about what I'm doing. Every single day, I'm doing something to help somebody else. And I get that response. See, when you're online, you get that feedback. That response comes back as saying, this made a difference, Landria, thank you. I created an e-course, and the response has been overwhelming. It's the best money I ever spent, Landria. You changed my life. That's work. Bring it on. Bring it on. Can you get out of that thinking and accept the fact that you're going to have to take a step into something that's very uncomfortable? For most people, it wasn't for me. It was an easy decision for me. Why? What's so tough about leaving something I hated? Now, most people can't just quit their job like I did. I took a big chance. But I wrote my book. I had a best-selling book. I had a television movie. I started creating my dreams. And it kept reinforcing that that's what I need to do, is to make those dreams come true. And it took work. I had to sit and write and do all kinds of research, but I loved everything that I was doing. And that's the difference. Hard work and focus and commitment is no big deal when you're enjoying it, when you're passionate about it, right? It's like the gold medal runner getting up at 5 a.m. or earlier to go run every morning. It seems horrible to somebody like me. I don't want to be running at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. But they're that passionate about it. So whatever they experience when they have to practice to get faster and fitter, they are okay with, because the results for them are amazing. Even if they aren't the gold medal winner, they're going after their dreams, and they're okay with that. We should function that way. So I wanted to spend some time with you because money is something I see so many people chasing and expecting other people to give them to them. And when you take control of your knowledge, your learning, what you're building, you are owning an intellectual property. And when you offer value to the world, now you're creating a difference on this planet. So thanks for spending time with me. I assure you that when you go into that different way of life and thinking, the money does come. It's true. And all of us that are the leaders within this whole education system, I'm one of them, multiple six-figure earner and climbing, we always went after what we loved first, and the money flowed. And then we focused more on that because all of it is on a higher frequency. What does that mean? We're feeling good about what we give, and people are coming in feeling good about what they're receiving. So if you're interested in signing up for the free workshop, you can click somewhere here, and there's a free workshop. Every day you'll get one, and it discusses what's the education system, how does the business side work, what are the different things that you can do, how does the education system work, how much does it cost. World is changing, and you can join us. So click, and you can check it out. And I'll see you on the other side, because I personally work with the students. We have our own groups and webinars. So you're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.